And even if you're not going to do a traditional loan, write the business plan and put in there your mission and your vision. Because that's kind of a roadmap of where you want to go. And it kind of holds you to your goal and your values.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to episode 21 of the Equal Parts Coffee Podcast. Joined by guest Landon McDaid.
Hey guys.
In Suttons Bay. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm not Nick. I know you normally see these two up here. Shout out Nick. How many shout outs do you guys do in an episode?
I think the most we've done is probably like a couple dozen. So we've got a few left. Okay. We can use. So
a bit about myself. I'm rarely asked that question, but I'm born in Central Michigan, and I've been in kind of hospitality for a while, and went to Ferris, and live up here now full time and really enjoy it.
Nice.
I like to do some outdoor activities. Yeah.
Amazing.
And I don't know what else about myself.
Well, I mainly brought you on to talk about, what we talk about most episodes is coffee. So you started Hive Coffee in, what was that,
2023?
3? Okay.
I think the real ball started rolling as opposed to the hypothetical ball. Real ball started rolling 2023, I think, after that first interview I had with your dad, which was, I think, in June or July.
Yeah. So, a little bit of background. You own Hive Coffee in Suttons Bay, which before, I think it was October 31st was Mundos' last day in that location. Mundos had been in that space since 2019 and felt the need to focus in on the Traverse City community. And one of the biggest issues we had, or worries that we had, is that we would be leaving the community of Suttons Bay without a place for coffee and community. So we really wanted to hand it off to somebody who really, for one, loves coffee and loves people as much as and even more than we do. So I know my dad did a lot of the interviewing and talking with you, and it seemed like a perfect fit.
Well, thank you
for that. So, and obviously, I mean, you've been here for
almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Coming up in a month and a half.
Nice.
Or 2 months. It'll be 2 years.
Sweet.
So we'll be celebrating that.
Yeah.
And those interviews with your dad were not stressful, but you could tell that he was really wanting someone to kind of take that community mantle more than what he was focused on. He was more focused on the community than the image of the coffee shop. Like during those interviews, it was just like, tell me about yourself. It was probably the last time I was asked that question. And he didn't ask me what my vision was. He didn't ask me the name of the shop. He didn't ask me any of those questions while we were...
No, that's all good.
Okay. He didn't ask me any of those questions while we were interviewing.
Yep.
But he did sneak in the first interview that there were 19 other people. And then the second interview, I think he snuck in that there was, 6 that he was really serious about. And every time I was like, it's probably not going to be me.
I feel like that's one thing I hear a lot, is that like a lot of people want to start a coffee shop or they want to own a coffee shop. And for one, it's not as easy as it sounds. Or it's not, I'm sure from your experience, it's not quite as, as easy and as luxurious as it sounds. There's a lot of hard work that's involved with any business.
Yeah, I definitely romanticized it. That's the word. A lot of people do romanticize it.
Great word.
The community is what makes it everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I understood exactly kind of why you guys were so specific on someone for the community mostly, because I love my community, all of my regulars. I mean, I'm literally, some days I'm like working, 15, 16 hours but it's, I'm just serving coffee to my friends that come in.
I mean, that's what they say. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
It's
which
true.
I feel like is true, but it's also not true. You can love what you do, but it's still hard work. But it pays off.
It's rewarding work.
Yeah, very rewarding. And I'm sure it's very obvious to, I'm sure, everyone who's come in here that this is like a passion project and that you love what you're doing and you love the community around you. Because I've been to a lot of shops where it's just a coffee shop and they don't really care for the community, and you can tell a lot of the times that it's just kind of like, we're here just as like a functionality. We're just here to serve coffee, and maybe it's because someone doesn't really care about the community as much, or they're so far separated from their guests that it's become cold a little bit. But it is very refreshing and very awesome to be in a place where you can tell that whoever runs it loves what they're doing, and and all of the baristas love being there as well. It makes a huge difference.
If I ever find myself in that position where, like that mindset of kind of, okay, get your cup and go, like, oh wow, I definitely need a day off, or I need a break.
Yeah.
Because it really, yes, you're right. It is a passion project of mine, and I put everything I have into this. And on the days that I don't feel that welcoming arms, like giving those welcoming arms, I'm like, okay, reset.
Yeah, take a step back.
That's not it. So
yeah, I've definitely like seen that you love what you do, and with the transformation of this space, like not just aesthetically is very different, but like the energy in here is amazing. And I think that's partially due to when we were here, we were splitting our attention between two very different towns, and we tried to do as much as we could with loving the community in Traverse City and in Suttons Bay at the same time. But it's hard to do if you live, I live 45 minutes away. It's not that far away, but it still is that distance, and like it can kind of wear on you. So I'm glad we're able to find somebody who lives in this city, loves the city, and loves coffee.
Yeah,
kind of works out great for everybody.
We did just buy a house, my wife and I, this spring. It is a half an hour away from here.
All right, okay, yeah.
But I do drive up here 7 days a week and just kind of live up here until 6 or 7. At night.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it makes a difference if this is where you want to be, or where you're spending most of your time. But with jumping between the different shops, it was kind of like, which one is more deserving of my attention, which it's hard to do. It's great up here.
Definitely understand the position that you guys were in, and so grateful for the opportunity as well. I mean, I don't think I would have been able to do this without like the graciousness of you guys and support from you and your family. Because stepping in, pretty much turnkey. The water system was the scariest part for me, and I was like, thank gosh it's still here. But no, I don't know if I could have done it all. I probably would have been maybe too afraid to take that leap of faith.
Yeah. There's a lot of steps that are in the process, and like definitely with my whole family, it's like it took all of us to open up Mundos, like all of our different skill sets. With my dad's just business mindset and determination to like get things done, and then my older sister Sarah, who is very much into that like interior design and aesthetics feel, where like that's like where we shaped the vision of Mundos with her, and then everyone else in my family just like coming along, helping. My mom, incredible like risk assessment. She's like keeping everybody accountable. Was like, hold on, let's think about this. I know you want this $30,000 espresso machine or whatever it is, but like we got to make money at some point. So
that's my wife. She's like, okay, you've got to financially make it make sense in my brain. She's a nurse, full time. Comes up here maybe 3 or 4 times a month and is like an absolute celebrity to the staff,
awesome.
And the locals.
Yeah.
But that she's very, that risk management and, show me the numbers.
Yep.
And speaking of design, how your sister kind of did that design, I think that's like the aesthetic and the designs of a coffee shop is maybe one of the most important to like display. It's almost like a personality.
Oh yeah.
You display to your guests coming in, and we attempted, I think people do see it, how you said we redid it.
Yeah.
We wanted to go with this design style that's called Japandi. Have you ever heard of it?
Japandi? No, I don't think so.
So it's Japanese and Scandinavian design. And we wanted the Scandinavian design is a lot of like airy feel, like light moves all around the furniture, light moves everywhere. The very like textured, calm walls, the wood tones, and kind of like the backlit bar. It's like gathering around the light or the fire, and we did that for. I don't know if I'm getting too into things with your questions.
That's fine. We can do whatever we want to do. So,
but we wanted that because, it's Michigan, and we get those, depressing winters.
Definitely.
We wanted to combat that, knowing we were going to be open year round.
Absolutely.
And part of our mission is to support that mental health. So we kind of purposely designed it that way.
Yeah.
The Japanese kind of part is kind of the earth tones.
Yeah.
That we dove into. Our I know my shirt's blue, but our main color is like artichoke or matcha, which is like the above the bar there. And I also thought it was really fitting with the like flow of inside and out and all the like nature inside, because that's very like Japanese style.
I definitely think you've captured that very well, of especially in the wintertime, of a place of like rescue, a place to get out from the cold, to get out from the dark and walk in to the light, and like a breath of fresh air in a way where it's like you get the warmth from the wood and the airiness from the lighter colors in here, so you can just kind of like rest and relax for a moment and kind of take your mind off the darkness for a while. So I think you've done very well with this space.
Thank you.
For sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. What I have, one of the questions for you was, how did you fall in love with coffee? Obviously you, another thing with opening a coffee shop is coffee is a big part of it. So.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. What was your journey with coffee? Did you always love coffee, or was there like a certain point in time where you realized that I really enjoy coffee?
With coffee, I used to sit and watch the birds with my grandma, and we would drink coffee.
Yeah.
And it's like, Folgers or whatever. And it's like, I was young and drinking black coffee with my grandma, but it was more of the sense of community, the ritual of that.
Yeah.
And then, I got to college and started enjoying coffee more, needing coffee more.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And it still was that ritual. And that ritual kind of started Hive, which is probably another question of yours, but fell in love with it with my wife when we were dating in college.
Nice.
We had that morning ritual and, started experimenting with coffee and we couldn't really afford to go out to coffee shops all the time.
Yeah.
So it was mostly just like us at home, and then started having really good cups of coffee.
Nice.
And that kind of opened my eyes to the world of coffee. First time I was living in Grand Rapids, and I went to Madcap.
Oh, yeah.
I went to this place called Little Bird, and which I'm sure, looking back, they probably were serving Madcap because they were across the street. But like such a beautiful chocolatey coffee, which I didn't put chocolate in it. And then coming up here and having your least favorite drink, an Americano. But it was a Tanzania.
Oh.
And B recommended it.
Shout out B.
And it was like, yeah, it's Tanzania. It's going to be a little fruity. And like, okay. And then I was like, whoa, coffee can be so like juicy and fruity. And that truly changed my mind around coffee.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, this can be so good and so different in every cup.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of stories I hear is most of the time it starts out as the experience of coffee and the community that surrounds it, which that's one of the many things that makes coffee so incredible is that community, the social aspect behind it. And that's the whole reason coffee shops exist in the first place. Like, and then of course you can discover the beautiful aspects of the flavors of coffee later on. And it's just an ever expanding universe of coffee. There's so much, there's so many different aspects. There's so many rabbit holes you can go down when it comes to coffee. It's so much fun. Like you can have a podcast about coffee apparently.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
You can dive into, like the fun. I mean, we do a bunch of unique seasonal menus here, so you can dive into that. But like, you can also dive into what you like which country specifically you want your coffee to come from. Oh, hey, bud. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there is just so many layers to coffee, and it's so incredible. And I always tell people that I didn't know it when I was younger, but coffee, like being in the coffee industry, is my dream job, essentially. Of just like, there's so much to it. There's, you meet incredible, beautiful people. You have great friendships. Like most of the people in my life I've met through Mundos. And through coffee. So it's an incredible tool for that. Another question I had for you is, how did you end up in this little town of Suttons Bay?
Are we going to get into full story eventually, or are we?
One of my questions was, where does the name come from, the name of Hive, and then what's your mission, essentially. But like, it's up to you if you want to like answer those in in tandem, if it makes the most sense to do that, then let's do
Right.
that. I've got more questions. So,
So I was going to Ferris State. This is kind of full journey, not
All right.
just how we got up to Suttons
let's
Bay.
do it. Yeah. Jump in.
So I was originally going to Ferris State for environmental biology.
Okay.
That was a passion of mine.
Yeah.
That was my sophomore year. Freshman year was not wasted, but not wasted.
Stick with that. Yeah.
But then I really dove into like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Environmental biology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in the class, I was in class with a bunch of seniors. They all graduated. I'm hearing that they're not getting jobs. And I'm not really one to study. I'm not a big studier.
Yep.
I was like, oh, so research would be the rest of my life. So I was like, maybe I'll figure something else out to still maybe do my part to help the environment.
Yep.
I originally wanted to work with like raising whale populations. That was like that was my passion.
Okay, sweet.
But then, all that kind of happened and fizzled out, and I was doing some career counseling, figuring out what I'm into, and the career counselor goes, every time I mention food, your eyes light up. I'm like, I did get the freshman 15, but you don't have to tell me about that.
Oh my gosh.
So I looked into hospitality, which Ferris does an excellent hospitality program.
Nice.
And I met my wife when I was in environmental biology. She thought I was a big nerd. And then started dating.
Nice.
And started junior year in hospitality. And I was finding that I was good at cooking. I was working at these 2 restaurants in Big Rapids.
Yep.
And then they asked me to help start teaching a cooking lab. So I started teaching all the other students how to cook. And then I was, working my on-campus jobs. I kept one from the environmental studies. I was teaching kids about animals in this. It's like a weird taxidermied exhibit with animals in their own habitats. So I was working that on-campus job, and then doing some teaching, and then bartending and working at those 2 restaurants.
Nice. Yeah.
And just fell in love with food.
Yeah.
And hospitality, and grew up cooking and whatnot with my family. So it was originally, the start was kind of food.
Yeah.
And then the love of coffee came from that ritual I had with my wife. We couldn't afford to go on dates. We weren't really drinkers. So I got this little machine from Goodwill, this espresso machine.
Oh, nice.
And we would just sit in our little apartment. It was above a music store. And we would just like have a conversation across the table, just kind of what today's going to be, what today's going to look like, how we're going to go into the day with like a positive mindset. And that ritual just kind of stayed for a couple years, and that really kind of started the hypothetical ball I mentioned of Hive. And everybody can have this ritual if I can offer it to them. We started the ritual because we wanted to have a date, and that's just kind of kept going. And I kept working. I was working 4 part-time jobs
Okay.
in college. I was also driving down to Grand Rapids to bartend. So that's when I would get some madcap there and hang out. But then COVID happened, and I moved in with my family. We lost our apartment, and like in need of jobs.
Yeah.
So Nicole's sister actually is a nurse at Munson. Nicole was finishing her degree from a hammock in my parents' house. And they're like, well, my brother-in-law could always use help. He was managing the Leland Lodge. So I started working there. We moved up here, and I was the event chef for like 2 years. Then I was the tasting room manager over at Dune Bird Winery.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of that was a major step into the coffee world because I was super into coffee, in love with it, trying to do it. And they had a Slayer, 2-group Slayer, and asked me to be the tasting room manager and said if I can play with the machine.
Nothing like playing with the Slayer. Oh, yeah.
So I got really familiar with that, and then, I started working there in April. Nicole started travel nursing and sent me the post that you guys made about leaving this location, and went for it.
Nice. So she was the one who first saw it and got interested in it?
Well, she was, again, very skeptical and, knew it was a dream of mine.
Yep.
And calls me a dreamer every day. And, if we're going to do it, we got to make it make sense financially for us. And, so she's like, maybe she could have not sent that to me, but she's a big supporter of my dreams, and
that's awesome.
And me, shout out my wife. I love my wife. So if she didn't send that to me, I wouldn't have gone to Mundos HQ and introduced myself to your mom, and all of that wouldn't have started, and then this wouldn't have started, and crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of little things that lead up to it, but that's awesome.
Yeah. So long story short, that's how we got to Suttons Bay.
Nice. Sweet. Well,
Felt like I was rambling.
No, that's great. I wanted to like dig deep into that story. Wasn't sure how far you wanted to go, so that's great. So how was the transition from coming into this space? Because it was a very short amount of time before you guys opened, right? It was
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. So, how was that transition for like guests coming in and being like, "This is different"?
We had a lot of people that were kind of skeptical.
Sure.
Of, if we were gonna be a different style of coffee shop, or if we were gonna not have, Mundos roasted beans, or if we were gonna be, what we were gonna do. When they ordered something, they were kind of, what are we gonna get? Yeah. And right. I can say with confidence that they were all pleased, and they were all, excited that we didn't change kind of the side of coffee, the level. Yeah. Because we want that nice steadiness of, a beautiful cafe.
Yeah.
But we just kind of, jumped in and tried to make the space our own and the brand our own. But then, I think you trained us here. And it was just like me, one of our baristas, my wife working when she wasn't at the hospital.
Nice.
For that full first winter.
Yeah, that's right, because it was November you guys opened, right? So it was going right into that slow season, which is like, I feel like it can be a good and a bad thing. Good
I think
because
it was perfect.
You like ease into it. I can't imagine doing it in like June or July, because then it's just kind of like people are already coming up there, they're walking in, and they're like, you know, if you're still trying to work out the kinks, it'd be really hard to do in the heat of the summer with tons of people coming in, and there tends to be a lack of patience sometimes when it gets busy. So it's good to like. I know when we first opened Mundos, the first location, November of 2017, that was great for us because it was going into winter, still people coming out for the fall, but we were able to kind of like figure out what in the world we were doing because we had no experience besides John, who started it with us, had worked in a cafe downstate, some experience. We were kind of like figuring it out as we go, which is a great experience. But I don't imagine what that would be like in the summer, like if we were like out the gate really busy.
Yeah, and it was good to also like learn the business side when it was slow and try to understand the financials of how this kind of operated. Because I mean, a lot of the winter days it was just me here, and trying to make money so I could then buy product. And I mean, we opened with only like 6,000 in our account. I was like, if we don't make any money and I'm paying people and I'm buying food,
the money can go quickly for sure. So
it was tight, but it was great. And I think people showed up and people loved our product and our energy and
I feel like that's one thing you have to have is you have to be authentic and be yourself for people to come in and to recognize that personality, like for one, the aesthetic of your place, but also just that energy that you bring to that space that people will fall in love with. Because you can have the most perfect cup of coffee, the most clean space, but if you don't have the personality and that energy for the space, and people aren't going to come back.
Yeah, there's a vulnerability to it.
Yeah.
To opening up your own space and trying to, offer that experience to somebody.
Because really, like, you're opening up that ritual that you started with your wife to, like, have that moment. You're opening it up to everyone else to join in on that, which is very beautiful, but also very vulnerable at the same time. So
I was afraid I was going to get trampled by people.
Where does the name of the shop come from? Hive. Why'd you go with that name?
So we have a mission to support honeybee conservation and mental health, which there's that environmental side of me with the honeybees. That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, but awesome. That and in the sense of community, the hive. And then another small thing that my wife always says is, it's hard to make change as a single, lonely honeybee, but as a whole hive or a whole community, we can kind of support each other and make change, and
that's great,
and all of that. Yeah. So, that kind of all funneled into Hive.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome that you're able to support honeybee preservation and that environmental side of that you love to do, which is like a cool thing with coffee is that like there's a lot of different aspects to it. Like you can lean into whatever side of the industry you want to be into. If that's creating this space and supporting each other in the community, which is a huge aspect, or other aspects of it with on the other side of the spectrum, like coffee farmers and stuff like that, supporting them and seeing like real world change that happens when you buy coffee that's a little more expensive than your normal cup of coffee. So
yeah, it takes a whole hive to fill a cup.
Absolutely.
Really.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Clip that. Yeah. So what's it like to operate your own cafe, like day to day? Now that you've been here for a little while, what's that look like?
Day to day operations. I absolutely love my staff. I surround myself with really cool people that I can hang out with. I mean, one of our baristas, Bryn, literally, I was telling you, painted this just for our podcast.
Check it out.
This
is the
the two fish at the bar. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's.
I love it.
She calls incredible. It Hive in oil, I guess, because it's oil paint. But no, the staff is super supportive and understands my passion, and the day-to-day operations are energetic and trying to be fun and almost like entertaining all of our guests that come in here.
Oh yeah, that's a big part of it. The entertainment that like people come in for. It really is. Whether it's you're making, I've heard people say if you're making drinks on bar, you're almost on a stage preparing drinks for them. There's a lot of theatrics, but also just having fun with everyone who comes in.
Yeah, and in conversing, I think a lot of our staff have that personality, that willfulness to like serve somebody and ask them how their day is going and just kind of like have a fun conversation and be themselves on the bar,
Nice.
And they kind of can sometimes, if we're not slammed, they feel like they can kind of take the conversation, take the reins on that.
Yeah.
But they make it super fun to be here, and I'm usually frantically doing something. If it's like prepping or running the bar or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm always doing something. So, it's been amazing and again, rewarding. But, days are hard. And especially, I try to lead by example for the staff. So like first one that's going to be scrubbing a toilet is me, so it's, I'm always in the thick of it. And a lot of them, I feel like I get a lot of respect from my staff because a lot of them are like, they tell me like, we're fine, go home. Like, I thought this was your day off, Landon. Yeah, but I had to do this and this. And they're like, okay, well, get that done and then get out of here. So it's, they look after me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I don't know, day-to-day operations. I don't know what else to say on that besides, trying to prep. I mean, we've got a decent food menu and so I'm usually here late prepping anyways. I mean, I just wrapped up.
Nice.
When you walked in. I mean, we're closed today. It's Wednesday, but I went shopping and did a little prep, made some scones. So scones and some soup. So
gotta have soup. Yeah. No, that's awesome. It is important to surround yourself with people who are encouraging, but also you kind of draw those people in when you really love what you do and you really take care of the people who join in on that journey, and they kind of recognize your passion for it, and they're like, I want in on this, you know. That's something that like I've seen with a lot of our staff. We have a lot of staff across a lot of different locations, and like if we love what we're doing and we love people well and we want that for everybody, including staff or everyone who comes in, then people will just really want to jump in on that and join us on the journey of making great coffee, but more importantly, loving people outrageously. So
that's so true. I can always get behind someone that's super passionate about
Mm-hmm.
their work. So
yeah. What is your favorite coffee origin?
Oh,
Like country?
yeah.
You get coffee from. There's a lot of them. A lot of coffee producing countries.
I really like Mexico and Ethiopia.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, I love the naturals from Ethiopia because
Oh,
I
yeah.
love like those juicy, fruity, like blueberry notes.
Absolutely.
I mean that hits me.
Yes.
Like, and then, you know, a lot of your Mexican coffees are like so well-rounded
Yeah.
and like I don't know, like full-bodied.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mexico is one of those countries that it's really tricky for us to find the right coffee from there, because we get a lot of samples from Mexico. They produce a lot of coffee down there, and a lot of it is incredible. But sometimes a lot of the coffee doesn't quite stand out as much as we would want it to. So it's like we don't have as much, like our Mexico on our menu doesn't necessarily reflect like how often Mexico is available and in season, because we are very select with the coffees that we get from Mexico. They produce incredible coffee down there, but like we maybe have 2-3 releases a year from Mexico. So when you get one from Mexico from us, know that it's going to be incredible, because we are very picky from there. Like I've never had a bad coffee from Mexico, but I've had so many that taste more or less the same. So when we really come across one that stands out and that's just different from the rest, we really go after that one. So I think we have one from just recently from Sesmach, which is like a cooperative in Mexico that is just so delicious. It's always chocolatey, smooth, full-bodied. It's good stuff.
So that was the right terminology.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
Okay,
definitely. Good. Yeah. And then, of course, those Ethiopians are always delicious. The natural process, those notes are just so prominent, especially from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Blueberry, sometimes some chocolate in there. It's good stuff.
I do want to say Tanzania also holds a special place in my heart. Because that first cup that I like was like, wow, this can be fruity and taste amazing.
Yeah.
And tastes like coffee.
Tanzania is probably a top 3 origin for me, I would say.
I've got a friend that has got a coffee shop in Tanzania, and he sent me some beans, and like they just taste like chocolate covered stone fruit. You know, it's like any like
that's so good,
like cherry and like apricot and like just like the fruity and the chocolatey. It's like I don't know, no match for
it's everything you could ever want. It's so good. Yeah, for sure.
How about you? Top one, number one.
Number
I
one
watched
is
this podcast. No, it was Nick that was ranking.
Yeah, I think
blind ranking.
Blind ranking coffee origins.
Yeah.
Number 1 for me is Kenya. Kenya hold a special place in my heart. I know early on when roasting coffee in the garage with my dad, that was one of the few coffees that we had. We've had Guatemala, Ethiopia, which Ethiopia is one of the ones that caught my eye very early on for its pronounced notes, but the one that I enjoyed the most was this Kenya that we had. So incredible.
Is it like caramely to you?
I've had some that are caramely and some that are more just like super citrusy. Like I enjoy like acid when it comes to food, acidity, give me tomatoes, give me everything, salt and vinegar chips, anything that's got some acid in it. I love that. So the Kenya's got that like sometimes it's almost a tomatoiness to it, but like a crisp, fresh tomato, or just like a grapefruit, very tart, but also sweet.
I love the citrusy.
Yeah, I love citrusy. But a lot of times you find that from Tanzania and Ethiopia too. So I think those are probably my top 3, even though you didn't ask that. Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania. I just love me good African coffee.
Kenya, so I once tried roasting coffee.
Oh, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, I was working at the lodge, up the Leland Lodge, and I was the event chef, and I was working 70 plus hours a week all summer, and I'd come in on my day off, and because I wanted to do this, and didn't know what exactly piece I wanted to do and how to start it, but I tried roasting some coffee in the oven.
Ooh, in the oven, nice.
And because it was like this fancy oven that you could control the humidity, you could control the temperature, you control the fan percentages, control all of it. And it wasn't doing anything. So I was like, well, I shouldn't waste it. So I just finished it off on a range. With the hood systems going, and it was like a gas range, and I was just like, and it just smelled amazing and caramely and chocolatey and fruity.
Yeah,
it was
coffee is so good. It's one of those foods, I would say. It's not really food, but anyway, it's one of those foods that has so many like flavor compounds in it that like a lot of the times, people say, flavor is subjective, which is true, but a lot of the times it's because coffee has almost too much flavor in it, where people can just pick up different flavors in the coffee dependent on, for one, them as a person, but also just their environment of like in that time you're able to pick up the chocolatey notes of this coffee, whereas a certain person may be able to pick up the orange notes of this coffee because it's got more, like, I think the term is like volatile organic compounds in it than a human can perceive. So it's like there's so much going on in there that it's like you're being bombarded by flavors. So that's why a lot of times people are able to pick up different flavors. I know when we get a new coffee and we're trying to put the flavor notes on the bag, we'll all blind cup it without talking to each other, write up our own notes, and then see which ones we all have in common, because we'll come up with very wildly different notes.
So you guys just use like overlapping flavors that you can find.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's like if you see a note on there, at least 2 of us has tasted that note in there. Yeah, which is kind of like, it's helpful so that most people can relate to that. If at least more than one of us was able to taste it. So
I would love to learn how to roast, and I would love to do it. My my best friend Jalen, who you've met, he's come and helped me pick up coffee a couple times.
Oh, nice. Yep.
He's the only person I sent that coffee I roasted. I sent him a bag. And
nice.
I was like, oh, it's great,
Yeah.
But he actually, I don't know if you knew this, but we've been best friends since 3rd grade.
Nice.
And he also knew this was my dream. And I called him up. I was like, hey, Big Dan needs to know if I can afford half this equipment. I need a little bit of money. Do you want to invest? And he said, I'm all about it. Let's go.
That's awesome.
And then, long story short, he invested, and then eventually he got out of the Air Force and moved up here and park ranger out on South Manitou.
Nice.
And, loving life.
Yeah.
And we talk about, dreaming, we dream together about, roasting and taste testing. You know, we taste test stuff together sometimes, and
for sure.
he's always up here, and the staff love him, and he loves the staff, and they all goof and make fun of me, and anyways, whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah, roasting is a lot of fun, and it's like less complicated, but also more complicated than you would think at the same time. Where there's a lot of science that goes into it, but when it boils down to it, it's pretty simple. Like especially when it comes to drum roasting, you just gotta cook the coffee. That's really it. And then you start to learn, when I turn the gas up to this certain temperature and I heat up the drum this way, then it brings out certain different flavors. It's a lot of trial and error. That's how me and my dad learned how to roast. The first way we roasted was on an air popper, like a popcorn maker.
Yeah.
That didn't have the right controllability that we needed.
Really?
It worked. You're able to get the coffee roasted, but just not the right type of flavor out of it, and it wasn't super even heat. And then I know he had like one of those like
I've seen
pans and cooking it over a fire as well.
I've seen his setup.
Infamous sample roaster.
The sample roaster.
We
so
still, we just recently started using a fancy new piece of equipment, but we used that for so long. But it works so well. It's just a flour sifter, a heat gun, a fan from a wood stove, and then one of his newest attachments was a drill that he would have like a clamp that he tightens to a certain depth, so that there would be a consistent drum speed, essentially. So he can just, otherwise you have to hand crank it the whole time to get it to roast. But it's just the most like transparent way to roast. Like you're able to keep in control over all of the variables right there because you're the one manually turning it, and you're like right there. You get all the smells, you can see everything. Whereas the big drum roaster, you've got the little window, you've got the little sampler, so it's a little harder to see what's going on, but that's why you use the computer, so you can see the temperature and the time and all that kind of stuff. But
feels a little more real time if you're using the computer and or if you're using the flour sifter.
Yeah, but there's something about that. You should feel more in tune with the coffee that way because you're getting all the smells out of it. But it little homemade piece of equipment.
I think I'm
works
going
great.
to invest in a flour sifter.
I was gonna say, like the whole setup probably costs under $100. So like, you're gonna get into roasting. That's the way to do it. Roast
for all
probably
you
like half
aspiring
a pound.
roasters out there.
Yeah, do it. just I'm sure there's probably some YouTube tutorial out there, or maybe I'll have to make one. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's see. We've been going on for a little while here. Let's get into some of the closing questions here. What advice would you give someone who wants to open their own coffee shop?
Build a nest egg of some money.
That's real.
My wife and I were fortunate enough to not need to take out any loans from the bank. Which I would say don't be afraid to do. Use someone else's money. Just be smart about it with the financials of everything. But kind of, I actually did a talk for some like entrepreneurs at Ferris. Did a little talk kind of about this.
Nice.
But, research everything and make sure you have the right people on your team, the right people on your side. And, but honestly, the biggest advice I have is even if you're not going to do a business loan, which they want, like a 3-year financial projection for a business loan and a plan. What is it called? Business plan. They want a business plan. And even if you're not going to do a traditional loan, write the business plan and put in there your mission and your vision. Because that's kind of a roadmap of where you want to go, and it kind of holds you to your goal and your values. So, at least have a mission and a vision to kind of ground you, and then maybe start small, maybe start with a coffee cart, which is how I was going to start, actually.
Nice.
Had a little espresso machine, not the one I got from Goodwill. Had a little rocket that I was going to do a coffee cart. Yeah. And, this opportunity arose, but, don't be afraid to jump in and, put yourself out there, be vulnerable, and, start small and just kind of try to build yourself up. Someone that's really living by that, who I really respect, is Nate over at Mia Piccola, Knoxville.
Yep.
Nate? Yeah.
Yep. Shout out Nate.
Shout out Nate.
Love what you're doing over there.
The shout outs.
Great job.
Yep. Start small and just keep building and learning and putting yourself out there, and then also putting yourself in there, out there and
in there.
Put yourself into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Your whole brain into it, and also be smart. Like my wife, shout out Nicole, and just make sure those financials look great. And passion can only get you so far.
Yeah. I feel like that's really important what you said about writing it down, even if you don't need that business plan for your loan. Just writing it down to keep yourself accountable to that, because I know that you can in the spur of the moment a little bit go after something, and that passion can fade. It ebbs and flows a lot of the time of you start to realize why am I doing this? It's good to write down the values of why you're doing what you're doing. Think about that a little bit, and then go back to that of this is why I'm doing this. There's more to it than just money or living my life. There's more to that. So that's really important. Well, sweet. Thank you for joining me here and recording this here episode.
Thank you for coming to Hive.
Yeah.
And hanging out with me.
Absolutely.
Tonight, and glad that we could do this.
Yeah, I've been wanting to record this for a little while now, so I'm glad this worked out.
I know. And unfortunately, we don't have Nick here.
No, Nick. Shout out Nick. Did we already shout him out?
We did.
All right, yeah.
Shout out Nick.
Shout out Nick number 2. Shout out your child, your son.
Yeah.
Congratulations. But
Nick and Fallon have a little baby. They
incredible.
They were my Sunday regulars.
Yep.
They'd come up every Sunday and hang out, and I'm gonna miss you. Please come up, and because I love seeing little babies in here. Got the baby fever,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got my own coming in November, so
well, shout out Jack.
Shout out my wife.
Shout out everybody.
Yeah. All of them. We love all you guys. Thanks for watching.